In the real world, 1966 was a year Chevrolet grew restless watching Ford's Mustang conquer America. Inside GM's offices, an underground project known as XP836, later codenamed Panther, was brewing, a machine built to fight back. But imagine if that fateful boardroom meeting went differently. Imagine GM's top brass looking at the sales charts and deciding that sporty coupes were just a passing fad. The Panther would have died quietly on the drawing board, its prototypes never escaping the drafting tables. Engineers who had dreamed of a lighter, nimbler Chevy would have been reassigned to design safer family sedans, and the Camaro name might have remained just another forgotten concept in a dusty file cabinet. Without that single yes, one of America's most beloved performance legacies would have never taken shape. This is Jimmy, and you're watching Car Legends now. Subscribe before the engine starts. Without the Camaro snapping at its tailpipes, the Mustang would have cruised through history unchallenged. It would have remained a lone pony car, uncontested and unmotivated to push its limits. Ford might never have felt the need to create the high-revving Boss 302, the Shelby GT350, or the Mach 1. The entire arms race of the late 1960s, bigger engines, bolder styling, faster lap times, would have been defused before it began. Instead of being a harder performance war, the Mustang might have evolved into a comfortable middle-class coupe, its rebellious spirit dulled by lack of competition. The thrill of Mustang versus Camaro drag races, magazine comparisons, and parking lot rivalries would have never existed. The Mustang would have been king, yes, but in a kingdom without glory. The Camaro didn't just give Chevy a performance identity. It gave birth to another legend, the Pontiac Firebird. But if Chevy had killed the Camaro before launch, Pontiac's hopes for a compact performance coupe would have gone up in smoke. The Firebird shared the Camaro's platform, meaning without one, there could never be the other. Pontiac engineers, always the dreamers of GM, might have tried to craft something from scratch, but without corporate funding or part sharing, the project would have been doomed. That means no Trans Am, no Screaming Chicken Hood decal, and no Smokey and the Bandit. The entire personality of Pontiac, its rebellious image, its pop culture fame, would have been erased. The Firebird was more than a car. It was Pontiac's identity in motion. Without it, the brand might have faded from relevance decades earlier. The late 1960s muscle car boom wasn't built by one brand alone. It was a fire lit by rivalry. Without the Camaro challenging the Mustang, the entire pony car segment would have been weaker. Automakers like Dodge, Plymouth, and AMC took notice of Ford and Chevy's war and decided to join in, giving birth to the Challenger, Cuda, and Javelin. But in a world where Chevy never entered the fight, those companies might have decided the market wasn't worth entering at all. The era of high-compression V8s, racing stripes, and street battles might have fizzled before reaching its golden years. The term muscle car itself might not have become a defining symbol of American engineering. The roads of the 1970s would have been quieter, tamer, and much less exciting. Chevrolet has always been a brand of dual personalities, practical and powerful. The Camaro was a car that gave it attitude, a youthful, thrilling counterpoint to the family-friendly Impala or Malibu. Without it, Chevy's identity would have leaned entirely towards sensible transport. The Corvette would remain the halo car, but its exclusivity meant few could afford it. Chevy would lose its bridge between attainable excitement and pure performance. Dealership showrooms would have been filled with sedans and trucks, but no affordable sports car to stir emotion. That lack of personality could have cost Chevrolet an entire generation of young drivers, those who grew up dreaming of Z/28S, IROC ZS, or SS badges. The Chevy versus Ford rivalry that defined small-town drag strips, high school debates, and decades of American car culture simply wouldn't exist. The Camaro's legacy extends far beyond the car world. It became a pop culture titan. From Transformers to Fast and Furious, from 1970s posters to rock lyrics, the Camaro stood for rebellion, youth, and power. Without it, that cultural fabric unravels. Bumblebee would never have been a bright yellow Camaro. He might have been a Mustang or a European hatchback. The word Camaro itself, which came to symbolize American grit, would mean nothing. Think of the countless stories, movies, and memories that would disappear. No high school kid fixing up an old Z28 in his dad's garage. No late-night races on rural highways. no roar of Chevy V8s echoing through generations. The Camaro didn't just fill showrooms, it filled imaginations. Its absence would have left American pop culture a lot less loud and a lot less alive. As the 1970s arrived, the Camaro continued to evolve, becoming sleeker, faster, and more iconic with each passing year. But in this alternate world without a Camaro, Chevy enters a decade unarmed in performance scene. The Mustang, unchecked, might have softened into a personal luxury car sooner. And when the oil crisis hit, the very idea of performance could have disappeared entirely. The Camaro's persistence through hard times, its ability to adapt and survive, was what kept the muscle car flame alive through the dark years of emissions regulations and rising gas prices. Without its example, the automotive spirit of rebellion that defined an entire generation might have been smothered by practicality and corporate caution. The 1970s would have been remembered not for innovation, but for surrender. One of the most inspiring chapters in the Camaro's real history was its return. After being discontinued in 2002, it roared back in 2010 with vengeance, recapturing hearts and headlines. It became proof that legends could rise again. But in a world where Chevy never built at all, there would be no comeback, no story revival, no ZL1 destroying Nürburgring records. Chevrolet's modern performance image, the SS badge, the 1LE track monsters, the sense that Chevy never quits, wouldn't exist. The Camaro's rebirth also reignited the Mustang rivalry and fueled Dodge's decision to revive the Challenger. Without that domino, the modern muscle car renaissance of the 2010s might never have happened. The streets of today will be quieter, the performance world less passionate, and automotive history less poetic. Fast forward to the modern era. With no Camaro to compete against, Ford's Mustang stands alone, a king with no rivals. While that sounds like victory, it's a hollow one. Competition breeds excellence, and without it, innovation stagnates. The Mustang might have turned into a mere symbol of nostalgia rather than a continually evolving performance car. For it could have chosen comfort over cornering, luxury over lap times. Without the Camaro constantly pushing boundaries, there would be no reason to build 700 horsepower monsters or GT350 track terrors. And without a three-way war between Camaro, Mustang, and Challenger, the American muscle market would lose its sense of drama and purpose. The Mustang would rule, yes, but it would be a lonely crown and an empire of silence. In the end, the Camaro represents more than a car. It's a mindset. It stands for defiance, rivalry, and redemption. If Chevy had killed the Camaro idea before it began, we wouldn't just lose an automobile. We'd lose a symbol of American resilience and creative fire. Generations of builders, racers, and dreamers drew inspiration from its lines and its roar. The Camaro taught people that greatness often comes from being challenged, that to be legendary, you must first be underestimated. In a world without it, that lesson never gets told. The highways would still hum with engines, but the song would be missing its fiercest note. And America, without its Camaro, would never have learned how sweet victory sounds when it comes after a hard-fought race.